Welcome back to video number 2 out of 3 for today. We actually have 3 separate stories that we're going to be covering in this particular video, or I like to get in there, get the information and get out. So let's do that, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off with the first of the 3 stories that all these reports are coming out saying that Meghan is having a 6-figure sum in residuals from Suits. But then when you open the articles, it says she may have earned this much. It's being claimed. I mean, give me a break. This TV series, which this was a cable TV show that ended in 2019, most people before they even heard of Meghan had never even heard of the show. If I had heard of it, I would tell you I had never heard of this show. Meghan played a paralegal on this show from 2011 to 2017. So nobody had heard of this show, and then Netflix picked it up and dropped it so that, people could watch, and it became it was not the most streamed show of 2023, but it became one of them. And apparently out of a 12-week, run, it was one of the top ones. Now, British Broadcasting Corporation will not say how much it spent on the deal as far as it being, sold. They're not saying if Netflix paid Meghan. I'm going to say no, because after all, they're already paying her for other work. And, when they asked Meghan about all of this, she said, well, it's wild. I had no idea what was behind it, etc., etc. However, a person at NBC did say that principal performers like Meghan get paid royalties. Those royalties are called residuals, and that is from global sales, so they earn a percentage of the deal. Now, because of the resurgence of this show, there is a spin-off series that everybody's talking about. Meghan's going to be invited on. I don't believe that for a second. Now, as far as the show being sold, it was sold to more than 240 territories across every continent, with repeat fees lining the pockets of the stars. So NBC Universal, again, this managed the sales, and they're not saying exactly how much everybody earned. It's been estimated that Meghan may have earned $200,000. Now, of course, we've all heard the engagement interview where they asked Meghan why did she leave, and she was like, oh, I got engaged to Harry, and, we did 100 episodes, and I checked that box, and I'm ready to move forward, etc., etc. What we found out later on was her contract had not been renewed. Whether she met and married Harry or not, she was off the show. Now, people are questioning how many shows she was in, what were the residuals, and as you can see, she was on a total of 108 shows in 7 years. I don't know how much screen time she actually had from those 108 shows, but that's how many she was on. Now, a little bit more information. Of course, Meghan, when she was asked at that time, said that the cast was just family from the beginning. They all lived in such close proximity. It was just wonderful. And it was during this time she mailed her rings back to Trevor. And later on, when she married Harry, it came out that several of her co-stars from Suits went to the wedding. But that was only the chapel. They were not invited to the after party. Instead, they hung out in London somewhere. If they're as close as family, why weren't they at your wedding reception? And we also know now from that awards show that went on not long ago that none of her previous cast members have her phone number. She is no longer in touch with any of these people. They're not talking to her. I don't think they want anything to do with her. They did a Super Bowl commercial. She was not involved. The Suits rebooting, she's not involved. Although I heard she wanted to be a director or an executive producer, and they told her no. Okay, let's move on to our next story. Everybody's talking about the rift. We're going to heal the rift. There's olive branches. You guys, I totally agree with this article. William and Catherine have made a decision. They're very conscious of Harry and his being a traitor, and they want nothing more to do with him. With William trying to protect Catherine, Catherine going through her cancer treatment, the king going through his cancer treatment, the fact that Harry's flying back and forth, the fact that Harry used to be so close to them, and the fact that he wrote such horrible things about them in The Spare. They're completely, listen, I still remember when Harry said, after the Me You Can't See, we did the Oprah show because the idea was to tell them how we felt and leave space for healing and reconciliation. And I thought, you are an idiot that you could say the things that you said about your family in the Oprah show, in the Me You Can't See, in the Cut interview, all the things that happened in the Spare, and yet you think that leaves room for reconciliation. That just shows you how just delusional this guy is. The door of where Harry and Meghan may be starting to open for William and Catherine, but William and Catherine's home in Windsor, that door is shut. William knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that Harry cannot be trusted. He doesn't want anybody else upsetting Catherine, and he's moving on with his life. So for all of this, the rift, it's over for them. It's done. And finally, I want to touch on this because this is such a load of crap. They're going, Archie and Lily are going to miss out on their reunion with King Charles because of all the tension with Prince Harry. Because, of course, everybody's making their way to Scotland next month for the Royal Summer Holiday, and they spend time in the Highlands. And Harry's not invited. Now, they're saying that Charles really wants to build a relationship with the kids. Listen, Meghan has kept those kids away. She has used the kids as leverage. This is now going against them because don't forget that when Harry lost Frogmore Cottage, he looked at Charles and said, don't you want to see your grandchildren? If you take away Frogmore, you're never going to see your grandchildren. Well, you know what? Those kinds of emotional manipulation doesn't work if you didn't let him have a relationship with those kids. If he only saw the kids twice a year, then he doesn't have a relationship with them. Not like if William said to Charles, you can't see George, Charlotte, and Louis. Kids that have been in Charles's life since the day they were born that he's seen on a regular basis. So these kids don't know Charles. They're never going to know Charles any more than they're never going to know Thomas Markle. And in Meghan's great attempt to hold these children as blackmail, they've really lost out. Those poor kids, they're never going to be accepted into the royal family, ever. All right, you guys, you know what I want. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. Put those comments down, make them good. And then follow me over to video 3. The link is in the description box. Let's go.